The real estate agent's smile didn't reach her eyes when she handed me the keys. "You're sure about this?" Margaret asked, her manicured fingers lingering on the brass keychain. "It's been empty for 3 years. Some maintenance issues, you understand." I understood perfectly. The house was a steal, a four-bedroom Victorian in a decent neighborhood for less than half its market value. At 26, drowning in student debt, I wasn't in a position to be picky. "I'm sure," I said, pocketing the keys. Margaret's smile twitched. "Well, good luck, then." The house stood at the end of Millbrook Lane, separated from its neighbors by overgrown hedges and a rusted iron fence. In the fading October light, its shadow stretched across the lawn like a dark stain. The windows reflected nothing, not the sunset, not the trees, just an impenetrable blackness that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. I should have left then. Instead, I pushed open the gate. It shrieked on its hinges, a sound like fingernails on bone. The front door opened smoothly, as if recently oiled. Inside, the air tasted old, not musty or stale, but ancient, like I'd opened a tomb that had been sealed for centuries. My footsteps echoed on the hardwood floors, each step a lonely sound in the emptiness. The layout was strange. Hallways branched at odd angles. Doors appeared where logic said they shouldn't. I counted 3 doors along the upstairs hallway, but when I walked it again, there were 4. The fourth door, tucked into a corner that seemed too small to exist, had no handle, just a smooth wooden surface and a keyhole shaped like a teardrop. I tried every key on the ring. None fit. That night, I slept in the master bedroom with my suitcase as a pillow and my phone charging beside me. The house settled around me, groaning, creaking, breathing. Old houses do that, I told myself. Expansion and contraction. Nothing more. At 3:47 a.m., I woke to the sound of footsteps. They moved slowly across the floor above me, a measured pace. Heel, toe, heel, toe. But I was on the top floor. There was nothing above me but the attic, and the attic door was padlocked shut. The footsteps stopped directly overhead. Then, very slowly, they began moving backward, retracing their path in reverse. I didn't sleep again that night. Morning brought rationality. I'd been stressed, exhausted from the move. The house was old. Sounds traveled strangely through old walls. I unpacked, arranged my few belongings, tried to make the house feel like home. It resisted. Objects moved when I wasn't looking. I'd place my keys on the kitchen counter, turn away, and find them on the mantelpiece. My laptop migrated from the desk to the windowsill. A photograph of my mother, the only one I owned, appeared in different rooms, always face down. On the third night, I found the message. I'd been scrubbing years of grime from the bathroom tiles when my sponge caught on something. Words, scratched into the grout with something sharp. "Don't open the door." My hands were shaking as I backed away. The letters were thin, desperate, carved with frantic urgency. How long had they been hidden under the dirt? Who had written them? I thought about the handleless door upstairs, the one with the teardrop keyhole. That night, the footsteps came earlier, 11:23 p.m. They weren't above me this time. They were in the hallway outside my room, pacing back and forth with mechanical precision. I pressed my ear to the door and heard them clearly, the soft pad of bare feet on wooden floors, so close I could almost feel the vibrations. I didn't open the door. At exactly midnight, the footsteps stopped. In the silence that followed, I heard something worse, breathing. Someone was standing just outside my door, their breath slow and deliberate, condensation probably fogging the wood. "Who's there?" My voice cracked. The breathing stopped. Then, very quietly, something whispered, "Let me in." The voice was wrong. It had too many tones, like multiple people speaking in near-perfect unison. It echoed with depths that human vocal cords couldn't produce. "Let me in." It repeated, more insistent now. "I know you're in there. I can hear your heart beating." I grabbed my phone, fingers fumbling for 911. The screen flickered and died, battery reading 0 despite being fully charged minutes ago. "Let me in, and I'll leave you alone. I just want to talk." "Don't you want to know about the door? The one upstairs?" "I have the key." Something small slid under my door. A brass key with an ornate handle shaped like a teardrop. "Open the door upstairs," the voice crooned. "See what's been waiting. Or don't. But you'll never sleep again. You'll hear me every night, getting closer. One night, you'll forget to lock your door. One night, You'll be too tired to check. And I'll be there, right beside your bed, watching you dream. The footsteps retreated down the hallway, fading into impossible distances. I didn't touch the key. I sat against the door until dawn, listening to the house breathe around me. In the morning, the key was gone. I should have left. Should have grabbed my things and run. But something kept me there. Not curiosity, exactly. Something heavier. Something that felt like invisible hands holding my shoulders, whispering, "Stay, stay, stay." I called Margaret, but her phone went straight to voicemail. I looked up the house's history online and found nothing. Not the previous owners, not the sale records, nothing. It was as if the house had simply appeared on Millbrook Lane, fully formed, waiting. The bathroom message had changed. New words scratched below the first. "It knows you saw." My reflection in the bathroom mirror looked pale, haunted. As I stared, it blinked, a fraction of a second after I did. I stumbled backward, heart hammering. When I looked again, my reflection matched my movements perfectly. But I'd seen it. That delay. That impossible delay. The fourth night, I barricaded myself in the bedroom. Dresser against the door, chair wedged under the handle. I kept the lights on, every single one, and sat in the corner with a kitchen knife in my lap. The footsteps came at 3:47 a.m., as they had the first night. But this time, they weren't alone. I heard voices, dozens of them, all whispering in that same multi-toned harmony. "Open the door. We've been so patient. We just want to come home. We lived here once. We died here. We're still here." The doorknob rattled. The dresser shook. Something threw itself against the wood with tremendous force, again and again, a rhythmic pounding that matched my racing heartbeat. Then silence. In the quiet, I heard a new sound, a key turning in a lock. But not my door. Somewhere else in the house. Somewhere above. The attic. Every light in the house went out simultaneously. In the absolute darkness, I heard the attic door creak open. Footsteps descended the attic stairs. Not one set, but many, a parade of bare feet slapping against wood. They reached the hallway. The floorboards groaned under impossible weight. They stopped outside my door. "We're free now," the voice said, and I realized with horror that it was coming from inside my room, right beside my ear. "Thank you for coming. We've been so lonely." Something cold touched my face. Fingers, too many fingers, touching my cheeks, my hair, my lips, exploring me like a blind person reading Braille. I screamed and swung the knife. It passed through nothing but air. The lights blazed back on. I was alone, but the dresser had been moved away from the door. The chair lay on its side across the room. And on the mirror, written in condensation, "We're inside now." I ran, grabbed my car keys, and ran for the front door. It wouldn't open. I pulled, twisted, beat my fists against the wood, but it held fast. The windows were the same. Wouldn't break, wouldn't even crack no matter how hard I hit them. "You can't leave," the voice said from everywhere and nowhere. "This is your house now. You bought it. You accepted it. You're part of it." I spun around. The hallway stretched impossibly long behind me, doors lining both sides like teeth in a vast mouth. They were opening, one by one, and things were emerging, shadows that moved wrong, shapes that hurt to look at, figures that were almost human, but not quite, never quite. They advanced slowly, savoring my fear. I ran upstairs, the only direction left. The shadows followed, their whispers building to a roar. I reached the second floor and saw it, the handleless door with the teardrop keyhole. It stood open now, revealing a staircase that spiraled down into darkness deeper than should exist. The shadows were at the top of the stairs behind me, reaching out with hands that ended in too many fingers. I had no choice. I plunged into the darkness beyond the door. The temperature dropped instantly. My breath plumed white in the blackness. I felt my way down the stairs, each step taking me deeper into cold that burned my lungs. The walls felt wrong, soft, pulsing, almost organic, like I was descending into something's throat. At the bottom, I found a room. It was vast, far larger than the house's footprint could contain. Pale blue light emanated from nowhere and everywhere, revealing what lay within. People, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, standing perfectly still. They were gray and withered, their skin like old paper, their eyes milky white. They wore clothes from different eras, Victorian dresses, 1950s suits, modern jeans and t-shirts. Some looked recently dead. Others were little more than skeletons held together by desiccated skin. They were all watching me. "Welcome home," they said in perfect unison. One stepped forward, a woman in a floral dress, her face a skull covered in translucent skin. "We all bought this house. We all thought we found a bargain. We all tried to leave. The house doesn't let go," a man in a business suit added, his jaw hanging loose. "It needs us, feeds on us, our fear, our life, our essence. It draws them in one by one. And we wait here, watching through the walls, walking through the halls, trying to warn the next one." "You saw the message," the first woman said. "In the bathroom. I wrote that. Before it took me completely. Help us," another voice called from the back. "Please, make it stop." They moved closer, surrounding me. Their cold hands reached out, not threatening, but pleading, desperate. "How?" I asked. "How do I stop it?" "You can't," they answered together. "The house is hungry. It's always hungry. It's been hungry since it was built on cursed ground, on a place where something terrible happened, where blood soaked into the earth and twisted everything above it. The house grew from that pain, that death. It's alive, and it needs to feed." The walls pulsed around us. In, out, like breathing. "But you can choose," the woman said. "You can join us here, aware, still yourself. Or you can resist, and it will break you, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but hunger and whispers." "I won't," I said. "I'll find a way out. I'll burn it down. I'll—" Others tried. A teenage boy interrupted. His neck was bent at an impossible angle. "Fire won't burn it. Axes won't cut it. The police don't see it. To them, it looks normal. It only shows its truth to those who enter, those who belong to it." I backed away, hitting the cold wall. It felt like flesh. "No," I whispered. "No, I'll find a way. I have to." I ran, back to the stairs, up through the darkness, through the open doorway. The shadows had retreated. The house was still again, quiet, almost peaceful in the dawn light filtering through windows that I tried, every exit, every window, every door. Nothing worked. Days blurred together. I stopped sleeping, couldn't sleep, not with the whispers that came each night, growing louder, more insistent. I stopped eating. The food in the refrigerator rotted within hours. Water from the taps ran black and thick. I found more messages scratched into walls, carved into furniture, written in dust. "Help US. Get out. It's in your head now. Can you feel it growing?" And I could. Something was growing inside my mind. Dark thoughts that weren't my own, urges to go down to that room, to join the others, to stop fighting and just accept. It would be easier. So much easier. I held on. On the seventh night, Margaret appeared. She stood in the living room, still wearing her real estate blazer, still with that fake smile. "How are you settling in?" she asked. "You knew," I said. "You knew what this place was." "Of course I knew." Her smile widened, showing too many teeth. "I've sold it 43 times now. 43 people, all looking for a bargain, all willing to ignore the red flags, all so desperate, so greedy, so convinced they'd found something special. You're not human." "Oh, I was. Once. I was the first. Built this house with my husband in 1847, right over where they buried the witch. They said she cursed the ground before she died, said nothing built here would ever harbor life, only death. We didn't believe them. We paid the price. But the house gave me a purpose. I bring it food. I find the desperate ones. And in return, it lets me wear this skin, walk in daylight, pretend I'm still alive." She moved closer, and I saw the wrongness of her. The way her shadow fell in directions that didn't match the light. The way her eyes reflected nothing at all. "You're different, though," she said. "Stronger than the others. You've lasted a week. Most break in 3 days. The house is intrigued. It wants to keep you fresh, aware. A special prize. I'll never stop fighting. We'll see." She faded like smoke. "We'll see. I don't know how long I've been here now. Time moves strangely. Sometimes I wake and it's the same day. Sometimes I blink and a month has passed. The house shifts around me, rooms appearing and disappearing, hallways leading nowhere and everywhere. The dead people visit more often. They're getting bolder, manifesting in daylight. Their whispers constant background noise. Some try to help, pointing out weak spots in the walls, places where the house's grip feels less strong. Others have forgotten themselves, lost to the hunger, and they simply watch with empty eyes. I found something yesterday. In the basement, a real basement, not the impossible room beyond the door. Hidden behind a loose brick, I found a journal. The entries were written in different hands, different inks, spanning decades. July 15th, 1923. I've been here for 2 years. I found a way to weaken it. The foundation, under the north corner. There's a stone there, carved with symbols. If I could just. The entry ended abruptly in a smear of old blood. October 3rd, 1967. Following the clue from the old journal. The stone is real. I can feel it pulsing. The house knows I found it. It's fighting back. Tomorrow I'll try to. Nothing more. December 19th, 2019. The stone is the anchor. Break the stone, break the house. But it's protected. The house won't let us near it. Maybe the next one. Maybe they'll be strong enough. I know what I have to do. Tonight, at 3:47 a.m., when the house is distracted by its feeding time, when all the ghosts walk and the shadows dance, I'll go to the north corner of the basement. I'll find that stone, and I'll destroy it. If I succeed, maybe I'll free them all. Maybe I'll free myself. If I fail, well, there's still room in that cold chamber beneath the earth. One more gray figure to stand and whisper and wait for the next desperate fool to buy a bargain house at the end of Millbrook Lane. The footsteps are starting. It's almost time. If you're reading this, if you found this journal in the rubble or hidden in some forgotten corner, don't buy the house. I don't care how cheap it is. I don't care how desperate you are. Some bargains cost too much, and some houses should never be. 3 months later, Margaret stood in her office, shaking hands with a young couple. It's been fully renovated, she said, her smile bright and perfect. Previous owner left suddenly. Their loss is your gain. At this price, it won't last long. The couple exchanged excited glances. The woman was pregnant, glowing with hope. We'll take it, they said. Margaret's smile didn't reach her eyes as she handed them the keys. The house at the end of Millbrook Lane waited. It was always hungry. If you enjoyed this horror story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon for more terrifying stories.